Hello, my friends. Let us dive into this hopefully rapid oil study. I feel like talking through it very fast and then just posting this on all my channels so that it can become Easter weekend for me too. So this oil study has the topic lemongrass because this is our free oil of the month, and I haven't talked about lemongrass for ages actually. And then I've added on the topic of allergies because it's spring where I am and the pollen is on the way. And I've also added on the topic insect repellents or tick repellents. That's for me specifically. I live very close to the forest. My garden is full of high grass. So we have ticks as a daily reality in this part of the season. So, but let us now first dive through, excuse me, I'm trying to find buttons here, into exactly how to get oily in April. I hope you can see this. I hope my face is not in the way. So on all orders of 150 PV before the 15th of April, we receive a free Zengest digestive blend as a gift for new members. So if you are watching this and you are not my customer yet and would like to start, make sure to do it before the 15th if you want to get that free Zengest digestive blend. And anytime throughout this month and in the future, if you sign up with 150 PV, or if anyone who is here that already is a customer and you have friends asking you, how do I start with doTERRA? If they hit that 150 PV in the first order, the membership is waived. So they don't pay that 25 euros annual membership fee for the first 12 months. Then if you are a loyal customer and you hit 125 PV before the 15th again, you receive a free lemongrass, which is the topic of this call. And then some people are unsure, how do I get up to 125 PV? For me, that's not a problem. I'm usually higher than that. But let's illustrate that if you have 5 oils or 10 oils at home and you're quite like satisfied on oils at the moment, you're exploring the diffusing and you're using aromatically and topically, what you can do if you want to get a free oil any month, we have this free oil before the 15th, you can look at your household. So replace your products and replace that spending that you would do in the supermarket on questionable products, and get yourself some foundational DIY ingredients, and then you can replace your toothpaste for doTERRA's toothpaste, or your shampoo, and in that way trial the doTERRA range. Some of it looks more expensive than what you think you're paying in the shops, but actually the toothpaste, for example, is quite a large tube, so it lasts very long. It's very effective and intensive, so you use quite a little each time, excuse me. So trial the doTERRA range and then see how far you come. If you come to 125, what you can also do is make a plan of oils that you wish for, and then you pair them together so that you hit that 125. It's not you don't have to always go to 125. It is if you want the free oil before the 15th. So I always advise people to play around with the PV thing. You know, you add things in your cart, you take them out again in order to become on top of the situation in a way, and start thinking in that. And then you can always see how many points am I generating with 125 order. 30% for me comes back in points because I've been ordering like this over 12 months. If you've just started with your loyalty program, you'll be earning 10% or 15% or 20% and so on back, depending on how long you've been in there. So be smart and check out the possibilities, and then don't fret over if you don't get the free oil because you really don't need so many products. Then you just forget about it, because what you can do is you can order something every month accumulate those points and then just get yourself a free lemongrass whenever you have the points for it. I think it's 25 points or so. So it takes you about 3 months, and then you can already get your free lemongrass if that's what you're longing for. So be empowered in the loyalty rewards program is my message. Now, lemongrass. How do we use lemongrass? We use it aromatically. We apply it diluted to naturally repel insects. We will learn about that later on. We diffuse it to resolve feelings of nervousness and mental fatigue. So when the things are coming too close to you, when you're crowded and that hot feeling behind your eyes, lemongrass can really clarify your mind and your space, and you just kick out those unwanted energies, and you feel a little bit closer to your authentic self again. Topically, we combine it with carrier oil for soothing massages, after a long run for refreshing feelings, or a refreshing feeling. If you have a skin cleanser, a non-tox skin cleanser that you apply often, or you want to oil cleanse, so you just take some almond oil or jojoba oil and you just massage that into your face. It can be as a makeup remover too, and then you wash it off with a warm, wet cloth. Lemongrass is a beautiful addition to that cleanser. And then obviously also to your moisturizer. If you have a non-tox moisturizer, you can add oils to it, or just use your jojoba oil and have some lemongrass in there, and then you make your other blends. Lemongrass and lemon are mostly for that cleansing and toning of the skin, and then you have geranium that could be more for keeping moisture in skin, frankincense for healing cells, lavender for calming redness, and so on. So there's different blends you can make in moisturizers, but lemongrass is definitely one that is amazing for skin. And toes and nails. So I mean toenails and fingernails, fingers and toes. So if you have little cracks or inflammations, apply it on your nail bed or on the area of where your nail grows, for better health for your nails. Internally, we take lemongrass to support digestion and to flavor our foods. And when we mean support digestion, what it does is actually quite effective against some of the gut bacteria that is bad. So if you have ulcers, or if you have irritable bowel syndrome, sometimes that can be because you have parasitic bad bacteria living in your gut, and lemongrass can be very anti-parasitic in that way, or antibacterial. It can be taken in capsules because it's quite intense in its taste. And so what is lemongrass? Lemongrass comes from the fragrant leaves of fibrous stems of cochin grass, also known as the lemongrass plant. doTERRA lemongrass oil is distilled from fresh lemongrass grown on family farms in southern India. You can see I have a little extra field here with co-impact sourcing, but they already also, I have it in the main text because it's such an important part of why I choose doTERRA is exactly this co-impact sourcing, that we always work with small-scale farmers, family farms, and as many as possible. So we give jobs to as many as possible. So it grows up in 8,000 feet above sea level, and there's a lot of rainfall there, which contributes to the quality of our lemongrass oil. We have a higher component, or a higher percentage of citral or geraniol, that's the chemical names of the same molecules. So our lemongrass is in that way superior to other brands. So both co-impact sourcing and co-impact sourcing means that we have this co-impact. We want to have beautiful impact on the farmers that we work with. And then we also co-impact sourcing. The sourcing part means that we have a very specific lens on how to source our plant material. And this is a beautiful example in this little text about lemongrass here, that we actually go far and beyond what other people do. We go higher up, or we go further in order to find the terrain or the area where the lemongrass develops to its fullest potential. We do that with every single plant we source. We look at where does it grow best, because then we get the superior quality, and then we look at how can we help the most in the local population that we're working with. The chemistry of lemongrass is mainly neral, geraniol, and geranial. So different molecules that have different effect on cellular level in our body. For example, neral is apoptosis inducing. So apoptosis is when the cell decides to die instead of to heal. So a cell that is too sick to heal has to die, otherwise it becomes a pathogenic development in our body. And so neral can help that cell remember to die when it's time to die. Geraniol is a potential anti-cancer agent. Here again, this anti-tumor activity means that the cell can't as quickly proliferate or make more of itself when it has been inhabited by a tumorous development. So if your cell has gone an off path, it wants to make more of itself in that cancerous way, but then plant molecules can come in and say, no, this is not something that we want in this body to happen. Geraniol has immunomodulatory properties. So that means it can help our immune system to function, or our immune functions to be more effective. You can read more on this if you type lemongrass or these chemistry words, neral, geraniol, and geraniol into PubMed. You will find studies there. So back to this co-impact sourcing method that doTERRA is using. So when we think of where we have partners in the world, I find it always so fascinating that doTERRA actually has this mission of improving the farmers' situation, and by offering them contracts better paid above industry standards, and long-term contracts, what the farmers can do is they can interplant and have reasons to diversify their crops, because they get more income for not just monoculturing wheat or rice or whatever, but actually interplanting, and in that way it helps the earth to regenerate, and the microflora and microfauna is broader, and more life will happen because it's not monocropped only. So I just want to make sure that you understand that co-impact sourcing is not just a social and ethical undertaking, it's also regenerative agriculture, is a sustainability, and it's plant, what's the word? Like quality of life for the plants, in that way that we want that most potent plant to develop, and so we need to find the most potent and the best place for it to grow, and the best methods for it to grow. Now let's move on from lemongrass. I hope that you learned something new about lemongrass, and otherwise please ask me for more details. In my life, spring is almost here. It's like we still have snow, but I did see my cat having the first tick the other day. So when spring has arrived, we reinstall the habit of searching our children and us for ticks after having been outdoors. The best way to prevent tick bite and tick-borne diseases is not taking a vaccine with highly questionable efficacy and toxic adjuvant ingredients. What I mean with that is that if you look at the numbers of the TBE vaccine, for example, they're very, very sketchy. It's being pushed on people every year as the solution for tick bite, but it's actually not. And there's very toxic adjuvants. Adjuvants are those ingredients that make it penetrate our cells better, and they're super toxic. And if we're trying to live a non-toxic lifestyle, injecting these things into our body is not the way to go. So the best way, because like what do we do otherwise, right? People go there because they're scared of ticks. The best way is to manually search your body and hindering ticks from biting you in the first place. So being aware. how ticks behave and learning. And I'm just going to try and, yeah, I can't see my text down there, but that's fine. Learning about how they behave so that you can be that step ahead. Tick control is a habit. So the routine is to take off all your clothes and search yourself every time you come in again. And that can be a couple of times a day during summer, depending on how many tick exposure areas you have in your garden or where you've been. If you've been in the forest on homecoming, strip naked and change clothes and search, because ticks are small and they go and hide and they take a while to bite, actually. So if you can remove them off your body, you are that step ahead. Terra Shield is our outdoor blend. It contains citronella, lemongrass, thyme, cedarwood, geranium, and peppermint essential oils in a base of sesame seed oil and this spray bottle. We have a 15 milliliter bottle too, but that's out of stock at the moment anyway, so I didn't feature it here. You can see those are all our repellent oils in one blend. What we do with Terra Shield is I do, like when I get mine home, I open it and I fortify it with other oils. For example, more citronella, I add on lemon eucalyptus and even palmarosa. Just opening it, adding it in, or spraying out a couple of sprays to make space and then adding it in. What I even also do is, because I find it very potent, I divide it into 2 bottles, and then I fill it up with fractionated coconut oil. So then I have 2 bottles. One can be out in the garden in our little shed, and one can be in the house, or one can be in my backpack, and one can stay home. And then so I've fortified it with the oils that make it even better and more effective. Topically, we apply it on legs and arms before the time outdoors, and reapply quite often for the protection to be there all the time. We take it on camping trips, to the bonfire, to the day out fishing, and so on. We can apply it on our cats, that it's cat safe, but very diluted, please, because cats are tiny. So maximum 2% it will be enough, and it'll help the ticks, or it will help the cats to not have as many ticks. They will still bring them home, but I find when I apply daily or every other day, I can see the ticks crawling on them, but they haven't bitten yet, so then I can just pick them off. Blending it with eucalyptus and lemongrass and applying it on the flea and tick collar for your dog, or on your horse's mane, on your horse's covering. I don't know the English word for it, for the horse fly not to bite it, can be very effective. Blending it with peppermint and citronella for a backyard barbecue mosquito repellent is also very effective. And we can have Terra Shield in the diffuser too, but I find diffusing outdoors is not as effective, so I'd rather have it on my body and invite my guests to apply it on their arms and legs too. If you get bitten by a tick or any of your children, please don't panic. Pull it out as quick as you can and carefully, so that the head and everything is removed. And then I love to be empowered instead of to panic. So I've educated myself on ticks and how they behave and their natural cycles, that, you know, from larvae to nymph to that little tick, then to another year older, the big tick, and then that tick is supposed to lay eggs again. And when they want blood meals in between developmental stages, and usually they go from small animals to big animals to coming to us when they're quite big, and that's when they also can carry the over 35 tick-borne diseases. Most of us are only aware of Borrelia, right, the Lyme disease, or the TBE causing disease, and so that's the brain inflammation causing disease. But there's 35 others that we're also getting if we get bitten, and that we are probably living, if we've ever been tick bitten, you're probably living in symbiosis with those bacteria, because your immune system and your gut flora is keeping them in check. So in general, we can't, like, I don't like to panic about things that I can't control, right? But I like to be empowered And when I do experience tick bite in our family, we apply oregano and On Guard directly after removing the tick in order to cleanse and kill off any bacteria, any of those tick-borne diseases that we can catch in that way. So if the tick has bitten, doesn't mean it has actually deposited anything into your bloodstream yet. It takes a while for the tick to actually dig through your skin. So if you're lucky, nothing has come in, right? Because or the quicker you find that tick, the better. So cleanse and disinfect with oregano and On Guard, and then mark the area with a pen so that you can see if there's a rash growing the next couple of days, and mark the day in your calendar so that you don't forget how many hours or days you've been waiting now and observing. If you do see a rash, it's quite likely that you have some Lyme disease happening. So you have to go to the doctor and get some antibiotic to catch it. And that's just that's the only one reason I would say you use antibiotics in the day-to-day life. And it's effective if you catch it between 24 and 48 hours after getting bitten. Then the spirochete bacteria, the Borrelia bacteria, and its companions will go and hide in the body, and that's when we don't catch Lyme anymore. Catch them anymore. We can't kill them with antibiotics anymore, and we most probably will have a Lyme disease happening, and it probably will be a long process, but it's not impossible. It can be cured with herbal protocols. Please search and find for a qualified practitioner that is qualified in Lyme, also a Lyme literate practitioner, naturopath, herbalist, homeopathy practitioner, or traditional Chinese medicine practitioner. They can help you if they are Lyme literate. Sometimes they only exist online, but you can even book with online people, and then you just order the herbs and the tinctures, and they make you a protocol, and you go through it at home. There is lots of knowledge online, but so that would be my route. Disinfect, observe, antibiotics if you still can, and then if you have Lyme disease can also pop up 2 years later as diffuse symptoms. So it's good to get tested, and it's good to talk to somebody who is Lyme literate, not just your normal doctor, because usually they are not. They will even give you an antibiotic 2 years later, but that's just not effective at all. Okay, next topic, because I wanted to be rapid. Allergy support. Spring comes also not just with insects, but also with pollen. And summer comes with pollen too, different kinds. And all of the symptoms that pollen can cause in you, that overreaction of your immune system and your histaminic system, can be controlled and alleviated with these 3 oils: lavender, lemon, and peppermint. Very effective. But I would also think you should probably work on detoxing your body and your gut flora, because allergies are often a sign that your entire system is overwhelmed. But for relieving those symptoms in the moment, so that you can live a normal life and don't have to take heavy synthetic medicines that bring those side effects that you don't like. We can take internally lavender, lemon, and peppermint, 1 drop of each in a glass of water or in a capsule. I do it on the hour when I have bouts of, I have grass allergy in about July. I do it on the hour. I calm down my system that way, and it usually relieves me of the allergy totally after like a couple of days, depending on the weather and how the grasses are blossoming. But if it feels too intense for you with a drop of each, you can make a capsule, or you can pre-blend these into a different bottle, and then you just take 1 drop of that pre-blend. So you can take 10 drops of each, blend them in a 2 milliliter little bottle, for example, and take 1 drop out of that blend into your glass of water. Then you have 1/3 of a drop of each, right? So you've already got only the 30% of the original dosage. You can also dilute that, and then you're down to even smaller amounts of actual essential oil, you can play with that, because some people need that bomb of 1 drop of each. Some people don't. So and you know your own body, and you can experiment until you find your optimal dosage. They do exist pre-blended. It's called Tri-Ease soft gels. You can buy these ready-made and swallow them. I find swallowing in a capsule or a soft gel isn't as effective, because I want that explosion of peppermint and lemon and lavender in my mouth, because that's where my symptoms are worst. In my head, right? So, but other people love to swallow it. So play with that. If it's for your children, we want to use these 3 oils in the diffuser and topically, because for kids it's probably too intense to take it internally. So you can diffuse 2 drops of each in a closed room and relieve their senses and their face and their airways from the itch. And you can make up a roller blend with 10 drops of each in 10 milliliter carrier oil and apply as per usual along the spine and on the feet and on the chest for allergy relief. Now, as I said, allergy can often be, it can have to do with that your system in general is not working so well. I'm just going to move this dock. I hope you can still see everything well. So if we want to help our entire system to detox better and to heal better, and we want that resilience in the gut, we can use probiotics to support our gut flora. We can use Terrazyme to support our entire digestive system and detox, and we can even use the deep blue polyphenol complex is the word for supporting gut flora. And then I just went and learned more about Terrazyme in our well-equipped app, and this is the slide, the protocol slide from that course that dives so deeply into how to use Terrazyme and PB Assist and Zengest for optimal digestive health. And Beck was talking about how enzymes actually can eat up the allergens and the histamines in our body. So we can take enzymes in order to calm down that overproduction of histamines that is an allergy. So that's when you're overreacting to a substance that isn't really dangerous, but your body thinks it is. We make too many histamines, it's an overproduction, and the Terrazyme can go in and eat those up so that your body isn't feeling the overproduction anymore, but it kind of cleanses it away. So that's for allergy in the summer, pollen, or any other allergy symptoms. Now, thank you so much for learning with me, and happy Easter. And now my kids, shh, jag spelar in älskling. Bra, men spring iväg. And happy Easter. I knew I was gonna get disturbed in the last minute, but now I am done, and I hope you learned something new, and please ask me anything in our chat once I've posted this, and if you have questions, and if you have friends you want to send this to, please feel free. If you have people that have allergies in your life, make them a little blend and ask them to try it. It's very safe. There's hardly any contraindications. The contraindication that I can come to think of is that if they're on heavy medication or if they're pregnant, then you want to not do the internal usage model, just the external, you know, in the roller bottle or in the diffuser. But otherwise, pretty much anyone can take these 3 oils internally and receive the benefits. So help your friends with it and ask me for advice if you don't know how. All right. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you soon again. Happy Easter. Bye-bye.